The Galactic Council's laughter echoed through the grand amphitheater on Nexus Prime, their derision aimed at the holographic display of an ancient human warship. They had no idea the supposedly dormant relic was about to wake up and shatter their complacency. Belos, a Sulaban diplomat with blue-tinged skin and elongated limbs, stood at the podium, his voice dripping with condescension. "Esteemed colleagues, behold this primitive relic of human engineering." He gestured to the rotating image of a massive vessel, its hull scarred and pitted from countless years adrift in the cosmic void. Observe its outdated weaponry, its inefficient propulsion systems, truly a testament to humanity's technological inferiority. The assembled alien representatives chittered and guffawed, their various appendages gesticulating in amusement. Unnoticed among them, Kevin Reyes, Earth's covert observer, clenched his fists. His nondescript appearance, carefully crafted to blend in with the myriad species present, concealed the fury building within him. Belos continued his presentation, highlighting what he perceived as design flaws and obsolete systems. The council members reveled in their perceived superiority, exchanging smug glances and dismissive remarks. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the chamber. The holographic display flickered, replaced by real-time footage of the derelict ship. Gasps of shock rippled through the audience as they witnessed power signatures flaring to life across the vessel's hull. Panic spread like wildfire. Council members leapt from their seats, their earlier mirth replaced by fear and confusion. Belos stumbled back from the podium, his composure shattered. Kevin Reyes seized the moment of chaos to slip away unnoticed. He navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the council headquarters, his steps quick and purposeful. Finding a secure terminal, he input a series of complex codes, establishing an encrypted channel to Earth. "Command, this is Observer Reyes. The Titan has awakened. I repeat, the Titan has awakened. Council's response is disorganized, awaiting instructions." Back in the amphitheater, the council devolved into frantic debate. Some called for immediate military action, while others urged caution, fearing retaliation. Belos struggled to maintain order. His earlier confidence evaporated. The footage showed the human warship systems coming fully online. Weapon ports previously invisible to scans opened along its flanks. Engines ignited, propelling the massive vessel forward with unexpected speed and grace. As the ship set course for Nexus Prime, the true extent of its capabilities became apparent. Energy shields of unparalleled strength shimmered into existence, effortlessly deflecting probing scans from the Council's defense fleet. The alien ships scrambled to form a defensive perimeter, but their formations appeared clumsy and ineffective compared to the precision movements of the human vessel. Advanced weapon systems, far beyond what the Council had believed possible, emerged from hidden compartments. Kevin Reyes, having secured a small scout ship, launched from Nexus Prime's spaceport. He plotted an intercept course determined to rendezvous with humanity's awakened guardian. As the Titan entered orbit around Nexus Prime, its immense shadow fell across the planet's surface. The once confident Galactic Council found themselves facing a power they had gravely underestimated. Humanity's ancient warship, dismissed as a relic, now stood poised to reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. The Titan's massive form eclipsed Nexus Prime's twin moons as it settled into a geosynchronous orbit. Panic gripped the planet below, the once orderly streets of the capital now teeming with beings of all species fleeing in terror. In the Council's command center, frantic voices overlapped as military leaders barked orders. A Praxian admiral, his tentacles writhing with agitation, shouted over the din, "Launch all squadrons, concentrate fire on its propulsion systems." A swarm of sleek fighters poured from Nexus Prime's orbital platforms, their engines leaving trails of ionized gas as they streaked towards the Titan. Volleys of energy beams and plasma torpedoes erupted from their weapons arrays, a dazzling light show that momentarily outshone the system's star. The onslaught washed over the Titan's shields like water on stone. Not a single shot penetrated the shimmering energy barrier. The alien fighters regrouped for another pass, but before they could initiate their attack run, the Titan's hull split open. From concealed bays emerged a cloud of smaller craft, each no larger than a shuttle but overflowing with weapons. They moved with impossible agility, as if freed from the constraints of inertia. The alien fighters found themselves hopelessly outmatched, swatted from the sky with ruthless efficiency. Within minutes, the skies above Nexus Prime belonged to humanity. Kevin Reyes gripped the controls of his commandeered scout ship, heart pounding as he approached the Titan. His comm unit crackled to life. Unidentified vessel, you are entering a restricted zone. Identify yourself or be destroyed. This is Observer Reyes, authorization code Sierra Tango 947. Kevin responded, his voice steady despite his nerves, requesting permission to board. There was a moment of silence, then, authorization confirmed. Stand by for tractor beam lock? An unseen force seized Kevin's ship, guiding it towards a previously invisible opening in the Titan's hull. The scout ship settled gently onto the deck of a cavernous hangar bay, easily large enough to house a small fleet. As Kevin exited his craft, he was met by a tall, broad-shouldered man whose weathered face spoke of years of combat experience. Numerous scars crisscrossed his visible skin, and his steel-gray eyes held a piercing intensity. Observer Reyes, the man said, his voice a gravelly baritone. I'm Captain Marcus Steele. Welcome aboard the Lazarus. Kevin's eyes widened. Lazarus? I thought this ship was called Titan. Steele's lips quirked in a half-smile. That's just what we wanted the aliens to think. Come with me. We have much to discuss. As they walked through the ship's corridors, Steele explained the true nature of Lazarus. This vessel represents the pinnacle of human engineering and scientific advancement. We've incorporated reversed-engineered alien tech with our own innovations, creating systems light years beyond anything the Galactic Council possesses. They entered a command center humming with activity. Holographic displays showed real-time battle data, status reports, and sensor readings from across the system. Lazarus was designed as a contingency, Steele continued, a safeguard against potential hostile alien encounters. We knew we couldn't match the Council's numbers, so we focused on quality over quantity. This ship has been lying dormant for decades, waiting for the right moment to reveal humanity's true capabilities. On the main view screen, they watched as several Council ships attempted to form a blockade. Lazarus's smaller craft danced around them, systematically disabling their weapons and propulsion systems without destroying the vessels outright. We're not here to start a war, Steele said, noting Kevin's concerned expression. But we will no longer allow humanity to be treated as a second-class species in this galaxy. Alarms blared suddenly, and a young officer called out, Captain, we're detecting multiple FTL signatures approaching the system. It's our fleet, sir. Steele nodded, unsurprised. Right on schedule. Looks like Earth received your message, Observer Reyes. On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council chambers had devolved into chaos. Species representatives shouted accusations and demands, while others simply fled. Belos, the Suliban diplomat, stood at the center of the storm, desperately trying to maintain order. Please, esteemed colleagues, he shouted, his earlier smugness replaced by barely concealed panic. We must present a united front in the face of this human aggression. His pleas fell on deaf ears. The Arcturian delegation, led by their imposing Prime Executor, stood abruptly. The Arcturian Confederation hereby withdraws from the Galactic Council. The Prime Executor announced, his voice booming over the din. We will not risk the wrath of a species we have so grievously underestimated. Similar declarations followed from other races, including the Zeta Reticulans and the Cygnus Collective. With each withdrawal, Belos's composure crumbled further. As the council disintegrated around him, a shadow fell over Belos. He looked up to see Admiral Zorn, the legendary Andromedan strategist, towering over him. Your incompetence has brought us to the brink of war, Zorn said, his four eyes narrowing in contempt. Step aside. I will handle this delicate situation. Before Belos could respond, the chamber's main display flickered to life. The image of General Alexandra Volkov, Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces, filled the screen. Her intense look swept across the assembled aliens. "Greetings, Galactic Council," she said, her voice calm but permeated with unmistakable authority. "I believe it's time we renegotiated the terms of humanity's relationship with the galactic community." As she spoke, sensors detected the arrival of a human battle fleet at the system's edge. Dozens of warships, each as formidable as Lazarus, dropped out of FTL in perfect formation. Admiral Zorn studied the display, his strategic mind already analyzing potential scenarios. He stepped forward, addressing General Volkov directly. "General," he said, his deep voice resonating through the chamber. "I am Admiral Zorn of the Andromedan Fleet. On behalf of my people, I propose an immediate cessation of hostilities and the commencement of diplomatic negotiations. Perhaps it is time for a realignment of galactic powers." Volkov's expression remained neutral, but a glint of interest flashed in her eyes. "A wise proposal, Admiral. We are prepared to discuss terms." As the human fleet took up positions around Nexus Prime, joining Lazarus in its silent vigil, the once mighty Galactic Council found itself at a crossroads. The balance of power had shifted dramatically, and the future of interstellar relations hung in the balance. Aboard Lazarus, Captain Steele and Kevin Reyes watched the unfolding events with a mixture of pride and apprehension. Humanity had finally revealed its true strength, but the real challenge lay ahead: navigating the treacherous waters of galactic politics and forging a new path for Earth among the stars. Stars among the galactic powers. A series of sharp beeps cut through the tense atmosphere on Lazarus's bridge. Captain Steele's eyes darted to a nearby console, where a young lieutenant was studying an incoming transmission. "Sir, we're receiving a hail from the human fleet," the lieutenant announced, his voice tight with anticipation. "It's the Titan's hammer. General Volkov is requesting to speak with you." Steele nodded, squaring his shoulders. "Put her through." The main view screen flickered, revealing the stern visage of General Alexandra Volkov. Her piercing gaze swept across the bridge before settling on Steele. "Captain Steele," she said, her voice crisp and authoritative. "Well done on securing Nexus Prime. Your actions have set the stage for humanity's emergence onto the galactic scene. I need you and Observer Reyes to transfer to Titan's hammer immediately for a tactical briefing." "Understood, General," Steele replied. "We'll depart at once." As the transmission ended, Steele turned to Kevin. "Looks like we're in for some interesting revelations, Observer Reyes. Let's not keep the General waiting." The two men made their way to a sleek shuttle, which smoothly detached from Lazarus and glided towards the imposing form of Titan's hammer. As they approached, Kevin's eyes widened at the sheer scale of the vessel. It dwarfed even Lazarus, its hull jam-packed with weapon emplacements and sensor arrays far more advanced than anything he had ever seen. Upon docking, Steele and Kevin were escorted to a secure briefing room deep within the ship. General Volkov was waiting for them, along with a cadre of high-ranking officers. "Gentlemen," Volkov began without preamble, "what I'm about to share with you is classified at the highest level. Earth has been preparing for this moment for decades. The technological inferiority we've projected to the galaxy has been an elaborate ruse." She activated a holographic display, showcasing a dazzling array of advanced technologies. Antimatter reactors, gravity manipulation devices, and weapons that could reshape the fabric of space-time itself danced before their eyes. Kevin felt his jaw drop. This is impossible. How did we develop all of this without anyone knowing?" Volkov's lips curved into a wry smile. "We've had help, Observer Reyes. Certain alien factions saw the potential in humanity and chose to secretly ally with us. They provided us with the foundation, and human ingenuity did the rest." As the briefing continued, the full scope of Earth's capabilities became clear. The fleet surrounding Nexus Prime was just the tip of the iceberg. Hidden shipyards throughout the solar system were churning out vessels that could outmatch anything in the known galaxy. Meanwhile, on Nexus Prime, chaos reigned in the Galactic Council chambers. Species representatives argued vehemently, their voices rising to a cacophonous roar. Admiral Zorn of the Andromedans observed the disorder with calculated interest. Slipping away from the main chamber, Zorn made his way to a restricted area housing the planet's primary defense systems. With practiced ease, he bypassed the security protocols and began inputting a series of complex commands. For the greater good, he muttered as he worked, disabling failsafes and inserting hidden backdoors into the system's core programming. Back on Titan's hammer, General Volkov addressed the assembled human leaders. "It's time to present our demands to the Galactic Council," she declared. "We will no longer be denied our rightful place in this galaxy." The transmission to Nexus Prime was broadcast on all frequencies, impossible to ignore. Volkov's image appeared on screens throughout the council chambers, her voice echoing through the halls. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," she began, her tone measured but firm. "Earth hereby demands immediate recognition as a major galactic power. We require unrestricted access to all alien technologies and the right to colonize star systems previously off-limits to us. These are non-negotiable terms." The council erupted into fresh chaos, but the unspoken threat behind Volkov's words was clear. With their defenses compromised by Zorn's sabotage, they had little choice but to acquiesce. As negotiations began, Earth's fleet deployed a network of advanced satellites around Nexus Prime. These devices, far beyond the comprehension of most council races, established an impenetrable web of surveillance and communication control. Admiral Zorn, seeing his opportunity, approached the human delegation. "General Volkov," he said, his voice low, "I believe I have information that may prove useful to your cause." In a private meeting, Zorn revealed a trove of classified data detailing hidden weaknesses in various alien species' defenses. Volkov's eyes gleamed as she realized the advantage this information provided. As Earth's negotiators pressed their position, leveraging Zorn's intelligence, a sense of unease spread through certain factions of the Council. In shadowy corners and secure communication channels, whispers of resistance began to circulate. The Cracks, a species known for their militant stance, saw humanity's rise as an unacceptable threat. Their leader, War Chief Kathrak, gathered his most trusted advisors. "We cannot allow these humans to upset the balance of power," Kathrak snarled, his mandibles clicking in agitation. "Deploy our best operatives. We must learn the true extent of their capabilities." Across the galaxy, Earth's sudden ascension sent shockwaves through every inhabited world. On humanity's home planet, the revelation of their new status triggered a mix of elation and trepidation. Global financial markets experienced wild swings as corporations scrambled to position themselves in this new galactic economy. Political leaders addressed their nations, some championing the opportunities that lay ahead, others warning of the dangers of overreach. As the negotiations on Nexus Prime entered their third day, General Volkov received an urgent communication from Earth's deep space monitoring stations. She excused herself from the talks, retreating to a secure room aboard Titan's hammer. "Report," she barked as soon as the encrypted channel was established. The face of a visibly shaken officer appeared on the screen. "General, we've detected a massive energy surge from the Cygnus arm of the galaxy. The readings, they're off the charts. We think it might be some kind of superweapon." Volkov's mind raced, considering the implications. This new development could upend all of their carefully laid plans. As she prepared to brief her staff, she couldn't shake the feeling that humanity's greatest challenges still lay ahead. Volkov's brow furrowed as she processed the information. The energy surge from the Cygnus arm could only mean one thing. A new player had entered the game, wielding power beyond their current understanding. "Initiate Protocol Aegis," she ordered, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "I want our fleet in defensive formation around Nexus Prime immediately." As her orders spread through the human armada, ships began to reposition with practiced efficiency. Aboard Lazarus, Captain Steele felt the subtle shift as the vessel moved into its designated position. Lieutenant Chen, begin long-range scans of the Cygnus arm," Steele commanded. "I want every scrap of data we can get on that energy surge." Kevin Reyes watched the flurry of activity on the bridge with a mixture of awe and apprehension. The diplomatic landscape he had so carefully navigated was shifting beneath his feet, and he knew his skills would soon be put to the ultimate test. A gentle chime alerted Volkov to an incoming transmission. Admiral Zorn's face appeared on her private screen, his 4 eyes blinking in rapid succession, a sign of agitation in his species. "General, we must speak privately," Zorn said, his usually measured voice tinged with urgency. "I have information crucial to our current predicament." Moments later, Volkov and Zorn stood in a secure briefing room aboard Titan's hammer. The Andromedan's towering form seemed to pulse with nervous energy. "The energy surge you detected," Zorn began. "I believe it to be the stellar nexus, an artifact of immense power, capable of harnessing the energy of entire star systems." Volkov's eyes narrowed. "And you're only sharing this information now?" Zorn's upper set of eyes closed briefly in what Volkov had learned was an expression of regret. "Its existence was theoretical, a myth among my people, but now, I fear the Krayaks have not only found it, but activated it." As Zorn revealed the full extent of his knowledge, alarms blared across the human fleet. On Lazarus, Captain Steele's voice cut through the chaos. "Multiple hyperspace signatures detected. It's a Krayaks battle group, and they're on an intercept course with Nexus Prime." The main view screen flared to life, revealing a nightmarish armada of Krayaks warships. Their blood-red hulls bristled with weapon emplacements, a stark contrast to the sleek lines of Earth's vessels. A booming voice echoed through every communication channel, impossible to ignore. "Humans and Council weaklings, this is Warlord Grix of the Krayaks Dominion. Your time of reckoning has come. Surrender now and submit to Krayaks rule, or face annihilation." In the ensuing silence, Volkov's mind raced through countless scenarios. With a decisive nod, she opened a channel to her entire command structure. "Initiate Operation Prometheus," she ordered, her voice calm but filled with perseverance. "Activate all hidden installations. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." Across dozens of star systems, cloaking fields shimmered and fell away, revealing a vast network of human military outposts. Weapons platforms, shipyards, and defense grids sprang to life, their activation a testament to humanity's foresight and preparation. On Nexus Prime, Kevin Reyes found himself thrust into the most critical negotiations of his career. In a secure chamber, he faced the leaders of the Arcturian and Zeta Reticulan delegations. "The Krayaks threat affects us all," Reyes argued, his voice passionate yet measured. "Together, we stand a chance against their aggression. Divided, we fall." The Arcturian Prime Executor's crystalline form shimmered as he considered Reyes's words. "Your species has shown itself to be formidable, human. Perhaps an alliance would be mutually beneficial." As Reyes worked to solidify these crucial alliances, Captain Steele approached General Volkov and Admiral Zorn with a daring proposal. "We can use Lazarus as bait," Steele explained, pointing to a holographic display of the battlefield. "Create a holographic illusion of our fleet retreating, lure the Krayaks into position, then spring the trap." Volkov studied the plan, a glimmer of approval in her eyes. "It's risky, but it just might work. Make it happen, Captain." As preparations for Steele's gambit began, Dr. Ethan Bryant and his team worked feverishly to analyze the data streaming in from Lazarus's long-range scans. The scientists' eyes widened as patterns began to emerge. "General, the stellar nexus. Its energy signature matches anomalies we've detected throughout human history," Bryant reported, his voice filled with wonder. "It's possible this artifact has been influencing our development for millennia." Bryant's next revelation sent a ripple of excitement through the command staff. "We believe we can neutralize the Nexus with a precisely calibrated energy pulse from Lazarus's main weapon. But we'd need to get close, dangerously close, to the Krayaks' stronghold in the Epsilon Eridani system." Volkov absorbed this information, weighing the potential of neutralizing the stellar nexus against the risks of sending a ship into the heart of enemy territory. Her decision was interrupted by a priority alert from Earth. Global markets were experiencing unprecedented growth as corporations began mass-producing technologies reverse-engineered from alien designs. The technological boom was transforming human society at a breathtaking pace, strengthening Earth's position, but also raising concerns about potential misuse. Pushing these thoughts aside, Volkov focused on the immediate threat. She gave the go-ahead for both Steele's trap and the mission to neutralize the stellar nexus. Major Jack Harper, she called, summoning a grizzled veteran to her side. I'm assigning you and your team to infiltrate the Krayak stronghold. You'll assist in neutralizing the nexus. As Harper's team prepared for their perilous mission, the combined human and allied fleet moved into position. Lazarus took the lead, its holographic projectors creating the illusion of a retreating armada. On the bridge of his flagship, Warlord Grix watched the human fleet seemingly turn tail and run. His mandibles clicked in savage anticipation. "The cowards flee," he roared. "All ships pursue and destroy. Let none escape the might of the Krayaks." As the Krayaks armada surged forward, Captain Steele stood at the helm of Lazarus, a grim smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "Steady," he murmured, watching the enemy ships draw closer. "Steady." In the vastness of space, the fate of galactic civilization hung in the balance. The trap was set, the players were in motion, and the true test of humanity's ascension was about to begin. The Krayak's fleet surged forward, their blood-red hulls gleaming in the light of distant stars. On the bridge of Lazarus, Captain Steele watched the enemy approach with calm focus. "Maintain course," he ordered. "Let them think we're running." As the distance closed, Steele gave a subtle nod to his tactical officer. In an instant, the holographic illusion of the retreating human fleet vanished. The Krayak's ships found themselves surrounded by the full might of Earth's armada, weapons primed and ready. "Now," Steele commanded. A storm of energy beams and missiles erupted from the human ships, catching the Krayaks completely off guard. Explosions blossomed across their formation as confused captains tried to reorganize their forces. On Titan's hammer, General Volkov watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. "Execute Phase 2, she ordered. Across the battlefield, the newly forged alliance between humans and their alien partners came into play. Arcturian sensor arrays lit up, providing real-time data on Krayak's ship movements. Earth vessels, their weapons enhanced by Zeta Reticulan technology, tore through enemy shields with unprecedented efficiency. Admiral Zorn's ship cut through the chaos like a scythe. The Andromedan's intimate knowledge of Krayak's tactics allowed him to anticipate their every move. His ship danced between enemy vessels, dealing precision strikes that crippled key targets. "Warlord Grix," Zorn transmitted on an open channel, his voice filled with conviction. "Your cause is lost. Surrender now and spare your warriors further bloodshed." Grix's response came in the form of a barrage of plasma torpedoes. Zorn's ship barely evaded the assault, its hull scorched by near misses. "So be it," Zorn muttered, signaling his gunners to return fire. Meanwhile, in the Epsilon Eridani system, Major Jack Harper and his team fought their way through waves of Krayak's defenders. The air was thick with the acrid smell of weapons fire and the metallic tang of alien blood. "Push forward," Harper shouted, laying down covering fire as his squad advanced. "We can't let them regroup." They had suffered losses, good men and women who would never see Earth again, but there was no time to mourn. The fate of humanity rested on their mission's success. As they neared the chamber housing the stellar nexus, Harper spotted a line of automated defense turrets. An idea formed in his mind. "Jensen Peterson Allen with me," he ordered. "The rest of you provide distraction." While his team engaged the Krayak's defenders head-on, Harper and his two specialists circled around. Using their advanced hacking tools, they infiltrated the turret's control systems. With a few keystrokes, the weapons swiveled and opened fire on their former Krayak's masters. "Path cleared," Harper announced. "Move in." Back in space, the battle had devolved into a chaotic melee. Ships from both sides weaved between each other, exchanging fire at point-blank range. Fighters and interceptors darted through the carnage, engaging in lightning-fast duels. Aboard Titan's hammer, Dr. Ethan Bryant's fingers flew across his console. "General," he called out, "we've identified a vulnerability in the Krayax communication network, requesting permission to deploy our cyber warfare package." Volkov didn't hesitate. "Do it." Bryant's team unleashed a cascade of digital attacks, penetrating the Krayax network defenses. Within moments, the enemy fleet's coordination began to falter. Ships lost contact with each other, tactical data became corrupted, and in some cases, vessel systems shut down entirely. Warlord Grix, watching his carefully laid plans crumble, made a desperate decision. "All ships, full power to engines," he commanded. "We make for Nexus Prime. If we can't win this battle, we'll ensure the humans lose as well." But Captain Steele had anticipated this move. Lazarus, its engines pulsing with almost unchecked power, moved to intercept Grix's flagship. The two vessels, pinnacles of their respective civilizations' military might, engaged in a one-on-one duel that would decide the fate of the battle. Energy beams lanced between the ships, shields flared and buckled, and hull plating melted under the intensity of the exchange. Steele gripped his command chair, barking orders as Lazarus shuddered under the assault. "Rotate shield frequencies," he commanded. "Don't let them get a solid lock. Weapons, target their main power conduits. Let's end this." On Earth, billions watched the battle unfold through holographic displays. Streets emptied as people gathered in homes and public spaces, their eyes glued to the images of human ships holding the line against the alien threat. A wave of unity swept across the planet, transcending old national and ideological divides. In government centers and corporate boardrooms, leaders accelerated plans to integrate alien technologies into Earth's defenses. Production lines retooled, research priorities shifted, and a new sense of purpose galvanized humanity's efforts to secure its place among the stars. As Lazarus and Grix's flagship continued their titanic struggle, Major Harper's team finally breached the chamber housing the stellar nexus. The artifact pulsed with otherworldly energy, its power almost palpable in the air. "Set up the targeting beacon," Harper ordered, his voice tense. "We need to give Lazarus a clear shot." His remaining team members worked swiftly, calibrating the device that would guide Lazarus's main weapon. They all knew the stakes. One mistake could unleash the Nexus's power, with catastrophic consequences for the entire galaxy. As Harper watched the final adjustments being made, he couldn't help but reflect on the magnitude of the moment. Humanity, so recently thrust onto the galactic stage, now stood at a crossroads of cosmic significance. The outcome of this battle would determine not just Earth's fate, but the balance of power throughout known space. With the targeting beacon in place, Harper opened a channel to Lazarus. "Captain Steele, we're ready down here, awaiting your signal." Aboard Lazarus, Steele acknowledged the transmission. His ship had taken a beating, but Grix's flagship was in even worse shape. As he prepared to disengage and line up the shot on the stellar nexus, a massive energy surge from the enemy vessel caught his attention. "Evasive maneuvers," Steele shouted, but it was too late. The Krayax weapon struck Lazarus with devastating force, sending the ship spinning out of control. As alarms blared and damage reports flooded in, Steele realized with growing dread that their carefully laid plans were rapidly unraveling. The fate of the mission, and perhaps of humanity itself, now hung by a thread. As Steele fought to regain control of his stricken ship, the stellar nexus pulsed with increasing intensity, its power building towards an unknown but surely cataclysmic release. Crescendo. Steele gritted his teeth, his hands flying over the controls as he fought to stabilize Lazarus. "Structural integrity at 68% and falling," his tactical officer reported, voice tight with tension. "We can't take much more of this, Captain." Steele's mind raced, searching for a solution. Just as despair threatened to overwhelm him, a transmission crackled through the static. "Captain Steele, this is Major Harper. Targeting beacon is online and locked. We're ready down here." A A fierce grin spread across Steele's face. "Acknowledged, Major? Stand by." With revitalized commitment, Steele barked orders to his crew. "Divert all non-essential power to shields and weapons. We're making our move now." Lazarus surged forward, its engine straining as it broke away from Grix's relentless assault. The Krayax flagship pursued, pouring fire into Lazarus's wake. "Helm, execute pattern Delta 7, Steele commanded. "Weapons, prepare main cannon for firing sequence." Lazarus executed a series of intricate maneuvers, weaving through the debris-strewn battlefield. Grix's ship followed, but its larger size made it less agile. Steele used this to his advantage, leading the Krayax vessel into a position where it couldn't interfere with their shot at the stellar nexus. "Sir, we have a firing solution," the weapons officer announced. Steele took a deep breath. "Fire!" A brilliant beam of energy erupted from Lazarus's main cannon, streaking across space towards the stellar nexus. Time seemed to slow as the beam approached its target. Then, with a flash that momentarily outshone the nearby stars, it struck. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The stellar nexus pulsed erratically, its steady glow replaced by wild fluctuations of energy. Arcs of power lashed out, striking nearby Krayax ships and causing their systems to overload. Aboard Titan's hammer, General Volkov saw her opportunity. "All ships, execute Operation Pincer," she ordered. "Box in the Krayax fleet and press the attack." The human armada moved with practiced precision, their formations tightening around the disorganized Krayax. Volkov watched with grim satisfaction as the enemy ships, many now without power, found themselves trapped between two walls of advancing human vessels. Admiral Zorn's voice came over the comm. "General Volkov, my ships are in position. We're moving to flank the Krayax southern quadrant." "Proceed, Admiral," Volkov replied. "Hit them hard." Zorn's Andromedan ships swept in from the periphery, their advanced weaponry tearing through the weakened Krayax defenses. Ship after ship fell to their assault, either destroyed outright or forced into surrender. Back on Earth, alarms blared in the Global Defense Network's command center. Dr. Ethan Bryant rushed to his console, fingers flying over the holographic interface. "We're detecting a massive energy wave approaching Earth," he announced to the room. "It's from the destabilized nexus." For a moment, panic threatened to overtake the assembled staff, but Bryant's mind was already racing ahead, seeing not a threat, but an opportunity. "Quick, recalibrate the planetary shield generators," he ordered. "We can use them to absorb and redistribute this energy." As his team worked feverishly to implement his plan, Bryant opened a channel to General Volkov. "General, we're about to receive a significant power boost to our defenses. Be ready to capitalize on it." In space, the battle had devolved into chaos. Krayax ships, their power fluctuating wildly, fought with desperate ferocity. But the combined human and alien fleet pressed their advantage relentlessly. Warlord Grix, watching his carefully laid plans crumble around him, made a final, desperate decision. "All remaining ships converge on Nexus Prime," he growled. "If we can't win this battle, we'll hold the planet hostage." But even as Grix's orders went out, Kevin Reyes was putting the final touches on his own strategy. From his position on Nexus Prime, he coordinated with the Arcturians and Zeta Reticulans, their combined technology creating a shimmering energy field around the planet. As the remnants of the Krayax fleet approached Nexus Prime, they found themselves facing not just this new defensive barrier, but the full might of the human fleet and their allies. Captain Steele, having neutralized the immediate threat of the stellar nexus, brought Lazarus around to face Grix's flagship once more. The two vessels, battered but still lethal, circled each other like wounded predators. "This ends now, Grix," Steele transmitted. "Surrender, and we can avoid further bloodshed." Grix's response came in the form of a barrage of plasma torpedoes. Lazarus shuddered under the impact, but its enhanced shields held. "So be it," Steele muttered. "All weapons, fire at will." The two flagships engaged in a final, furious duel. Energy beams lanced between them, missiles streaked across the void, and particle cannons unleashed their destructive power. The fate of the entire battle seemed to hang on the outcome of this singular engagement. Meanwhile, on the surface of the stellar Nexus planet, Major Harper and his team fought their way back to their extraction point. The corridors of the alien facility were littered with the bodies of Crack's defenders, testament to the fierce fighting that had taken place. "Move it, people," Harper shouted, laying down covering fire as his squad advanced. "Our ride out of here won't wait forever." As they ran, Harper's second-in-command, Lieutenant Chen, worked to download every scrap of data they could from the facility's computers. The information they were recovering could prove invaluable to Earth's future technological development. In the secure bunkers beneath Nexus Prime's surface, the members of the Galactic Council watched the unfolding battle with a mixture of awe and trepidation. The humans, so recently arrived on the galactic stage, had not only held their own against the Krayaks, but were on the verge of victory. "We must begin drafting proposals for a new galactic order," one counselor announced, one that acknowledges humanity's strength and the alliances they've forged. As news of the battle's progress reached Earth, a wave of excitement swept across the planet. In research labs and corporate headquarters, scientists and engineers pored over the snippets of information already filtering back from the front lines. "Look at this," one researcher exclaimed, pointing to a holographic display. "If we can replicate even a fraction of this technology, we could advance our civilization by centuries." Back in space, the human fleet pressed their advantage against the faltering Krayaks forces. Ship after ship fell to their combined assault, either destroyed or forced to surrender. But the outcome still hung in the balance, with all eyes turned to the titanic struggle between Lazarus and Grix's flagship. Steele stood on his bridge, hands gripping the command rail as Lazarus shuddered under another hit. The ship's AI reported damage to multiple systems, power fluctuations in the weapons array, and hull breaches on 3 decks. But Steele could see that Grix's ship was in even worse shape. "One more push," he muttered to himself. "That's all we need." As Lazarus prepared for what might be its final attack run, the galaxy held its breath. The next few moments would determine not just the outcome of this battle, but the shape of interstellar relations for generations to come. "Come." As Lazarus and Grix's flagship circled each other in their deadly dance, Captain Steele's mind raced through tactical scenarios. He had one last card to play. "Helm, execute maneuver Epsilon 3, Steele ordered, his voice steady despite the tension gripping his chest. "Weapons, prepare to fire on my mark." Lazarus surged forward, its engines straining as it executed a series of complex spirals and rolls. Grix's ship, caught off guard by the sudden burst of speed, struggled to keep up. "Sir, we've detected a fluctuation in their shield matrix," the tactical officer reported, excitement bleeding into his professional tone. Steele leaned forward, eyes fixed on the holographic display. "There's our opening. All power to forward cannons. Fire!" A brilliant lance of energy erupted from Lazarus, striking Grix's flagship at precisely the right moment. The beam punched through the weakened shields, tearing into the ship's hull. Secondary explosions blossomed along its length as systems overloaded and failed. On the bridge of his crippled vessel, Warlord Grix snarled in fury and frustration. "Activate the self-destruct sequence," he growled to his first officer. "I will not be taken alive by these vermin." As klaxons blared and his crew scrambled to escape pods, Grix made his way to his personal shuttle. The ship shuddered around him, systems failing as the self-destruct countdown ticked away. Aboard Titan's hammer, General Volkov watched the unfolding scene with grim satisfaction. "Steele's done it," she murmured, before raising her voice to address the bridge crew. "All ships, be advised. Grix's flagship is going critical. Maintain safe distance." Her eyes narrowed as she spotted a small craft launching from the dying Krayak's vessel. "Intercept that shuttle," she ordered. "Echo Squadron, move to engage. Capture Grix if possible." 6 sleek human fighters broke formation, accelerating towards Grix's fleeing craft. The battlefield had become a treacherous maze of debris and disabled ships, but the pilots of Echo Squadron were the best Earth had to offer. Echo leader to all units, the squadron commander's voice crackled over the comm. Surround and disable. Watch for tricks. This bastard won't go down easy. Grix's shuttle weaved and dodged, its alien technology allowing it to pull off maneuvers that would have torn a human ship apart. But the Echo pilots were relentless, herding the Krayax warlord into an ever-tightening net. Echo 3, firing disruptor pulse, one of the pilots announced. A blue-white burst of energy lashed out, catching Grix's shuttle and sending it into an uncontrolled spin. Target disabled, Echo leader reported, moving in to secure. As the human fighters surrounded the crippled shuttle, the rest of the Krayax fleet fell into disarray. Without Grix's iron-fisted leadership, their coordination crumbled. Ship after ship powered down weapons signaling surrender. Admiral Zorn's Andromedan vessels, along with the Arcturian and Zeta Reticulan allies, moved swiftly to secure the capitulating Krayax. Boarding parties prepared to take control of the alien ships, ensuring no last-minute treachery. On the surface of the stellar Nexus planet, Major Harper and his team fought a desperate rearguard action. They had secured invaluable data on the artifact and Krayax technology, but reaching their extraction point was proving costly. "Chen, on your 6, Harper shouted, squeezing off a burst from his plasma rifle. The Krayax soldier dropped, but 2 more took its place. Lieutenant Sarah Chen, Harper's second-in-command, spun to face the new threat. Her eyes widened as she saw a Krayax heavy weapons specialist leveling a cannon at their position. "Get down!" she screamed, shoving the nearest squad member aside. The Krayax weapon discharged, and Chen caught the brunt of the blast. She crumpled to the ground, her armor smoking. "Man down!" Harper bellowed, rushing to Chen's side. He grabbed her by her tactical harness, dragging her behind cover as the rest of the team laid down suppressing fire. "Hang in there, Lieutenant," Harper growled, applying a quick seal bandage to Chen's wound. "That's an order." Chen's eyes fluttered open, her face pale beneath the smears of blood and grime. "The data, sir," she gasped. "Make sure it gets home." Harper clasped her hand briefly, then turned to the rest of his team. "All right, people, we're leaving. Michaels, Reyes, you're on point. Rodriguez, help me with Chen. Let's move." The team fought their way through the last pockets of Krayax resistance, every step bringing them closer to their waiting dropship. As they finally reached the extraction point, the roar of engines signaled their ride home had arrived. In the aftermath of the battle, Kevin Reyes found himself facing a different kind of challenge. The young diplomat stood before the remaining members of the Galactic Council, acutely aware of the weight of history on his shoulders. "Esteemed members of the Council," Reyes began, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "Recent events have reshaped the balance of power in our galaxy. It's clear that the old order can no longer stand. I come before you with a proposal for a new galactic compact, one that recognizes the strength and contributions of all species, including humanity." The council chamber buzzed with murmurs and whispers. Reyes could see the doubt and fear in many alien eyes, but also glimmers of hope and curiosity. "We stand at a crossroads," he continued. "We can cling to old prejudices and power structures, or we can forge a new path together. Humanity doesn't seek to dominate, but to cooperate. We've proven our worth in battle. Now let us prove our worth in peace." As Reyes laid out his vision for a more inclusive galactic community, the council members listened with growing interest. They recognized the shift in power dynamics, and while some were reluctant to cede their traditional authority, others saw the potential for a more stable and prosperous future. Back on Earth, Dr. Ethan Bryant stared at his console in disbelief. The data streaming in from the stellar nexus was unlike anything he had ever seen. "This can't be right," he muttered, running the analysis again, but the results were the same. Bryant opened a secure channel to General Volkov. "General, you need to see this," he said, his voice tight with excitement and trepidation. "The stellar nexus, it's not just some alien artifact. Its energy signature matches anomalies we've detected throughout Earth's history. This thing may have been influencing human development for thousands of years. As Bryant's revelation sent shockwaves through the scientific community, another breakthrough was unfolding. The Global Defense Network, recalibrated to absorb the energy wave from the destabilized nexus, was producing far more power than anyone had anticipated. "We're seeing unprecedented energy outputs," one of Bryant's colleagues reported. "If we can stabilize and replicate this on a larger scale, we could solve Earth's energy crisis overnight." The implications were staggering. Clean, limitless energy could transform every aspect of human society, from industry and transportation to environmental restoration and space exploration. Aboard the battle-scarred Lazarus, Captain Steele received a transmission from General Volkov. "Well done, Captain," she said, a rare smile gracing her features. "You and your crew have performed admirably. Return to Earth immediately. You've earned a hero's welcome." Steele nodded, feeling a mix of pride and exhaustion. But before he could acknowledge the order, his sensor officer spoke up. "Captain, we're detecting an anomalous energy signature at the edge of the solar system," the officer reported. "It doesn't match anything in our database." Steele frowned, studying the readout. After everything they had been through, he knew better than to ignore such a warning. But the thought of home, of rest and recognition, pulled at him strongly. As Steele weighed his options, knowing his decision could have far-reaching consequences, the galactic stage continued to shift. The human victory had sent ripples through every corner of known space, and those ripples were quickly becoming waves. In the shadowy corners of the Galactic Council chambers, delegates whispered to each other, making plans and forging alliances. They had agreed to negotiate with humanity, but many were already preparing for a potential conflict, fearing that Earth's rapid rise to power could destabilize the entire galaxy. Meanwhile, Admiral Zorn found himself caught between two worlds. The offer of a high-ranking position in Earth's new interstellar defense force was tempting, a recognition of his loyalty and skill. But the coded message from his own people took a toll on his mind, hinting at dire consequences if he continued to side with humanity. As Zorn pondered his choice, Earth itself was undergoing a transformation. The influx of alien technology and knowledge was accelerating human development at an unprecedented rate. Breakthroughs in medicine, space travel, and artificial intelligence were announced almost daily. But with this rapid advancement came new challenges. Some factions within human society began to push back, fearing the loss of human identity and independence in the face of alien influence. Protests erupted in major cities, while others embraced the changes with open arms. Humanity stood at a crossroads, their victory over the Krayaks having catapulted them to the forefront of galactic politics. But as Captain Steele stared at the mysterious energy signature on his sensor readings, he knew that their greatest challenges, and perhaps their greatest triumphs, still lay ahead. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what humanity would do next. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine not just Earth's place among the stars, but the very future of interstellar relations. And as Steele's hand hovered over the ship's controls, the next chapter in humanity's cosmic journey hung in the balance. Captain Steele's hand moved decisively to the ship's controls. "Helm, set course for the anomalous energy signature," he ordered, his voice firm with willpower. "Tactical, keep all systems on standby. We don't know what we're walking into." As the Lazarus altered its trajectory, Steele opened a channel to General Volkov. "General, we've detected an unknown energy signature at the edge of the solar system. Request permission to investigate." Volkov's face appeared on the interface, her expression a mix of concern and curiosity. "Steele, you and your crew have already been through hell. Are you certain about this?" "With all due respect, General, if there's one thing this war has taught us, it's that we can't afford to ignore potential threats or opportunities." After a moment's consideration, Volkov nodded. "Very well, Captain. I'm dispatching a small fleet to accompany you. Proceed with caution." As the Lazarus and its escort fleet approached the coordinates of the energy signature, the bridge crew watched in awe as a massive structure came into view. It dwarfed even the largest ships in the human fleet, its surface a complex lattice of intricate designs and pulsing energy conduits. "My God," breathed Commander Rodriguez, Steele's first officer. "What is that thing?" Before Steele could respond, the ship's communications officer called out, "Sir, we're receiving a transmission. It's not in any language I recognize." Suddenly, the alien words shifted, transforming into clear English. "Greetings, children of Earth," the voice resonated through the ship's speakers. "You stand before the Nexus Gateway, a creation of the architects. Your recent actions have awakened us from our long slumber." Steele leaned forward, his mind racing. "This is Captain Marcus Steele of the Earthship Lazarus. Who are the architects?" "The architects were an ancient race who seeded life throughout the cosmos," the voice explained. "You, humanity, are the culmination of their grand experiment. An experiment you have now proven successful by neutralizing the stellar nexus and defeating the Krag's threat." As the implications of this revelation sank in, Steele's communications officer interrupted. "Captain, we're receiving a priority message from Earth. It's Dr. Bryant." Ethan Bryant's face appeared on a secondary screen, his eyes wide with excitement. "Captain Steele, the data from the stellar nexus, we've decoded it. You're not going to believe this. The architects, they've been guiding human evolution for thousands of years, everything. Our rapid technological advancement, our resilience, it was all part of their plan." Steele's mind reeled as he tried to process this information. The pieces were falling into place. Humanity's unlikely victory against the Kraaks, their ability to harness the stellar nexus's energy. It hadn't just been luck or willpower, they had been prepared for this moment across millennia. Back on Earth, the revelations continued to unfold. Kevin Reyes, working tirelessly with his diplomatic team, uncovered the Galactic Council's secret mobilization efforts. Armed with this knowledge and the truth about humanity's origins, Reyes called an emergency session of the Council. "Esteemed delegates," Reyes addressed the assembled alien representatives, his voice steady and confident. "We stand at a crossroads. The choice before us is clear. We can engage in a war that will devastate our civilizations, or we can embrace a new era of cooperation and advancement." As murmurs filled the chamber, Reyes continued. "The legacy of the architects offers us an unprecedented opportunity. Together, we can explore the stars and unlock the secrets of the universe. The alternative is mutually assured destruction. Which path will we choose?" One by one, the council members voiced their agreement. The threat of war dissipated, replaced by a cautious optimism for the future. Meanwhile, aboard an Andromedan ship, Admiral Zorn made his decision. He opened a secure channel to General Volkov. "General, I have information you need to hear," Zorn said, his voice heavy with the weight of his choice. "My people sent me a warning. They fear humanity's rise to power, but I've seen your potential firsthand. I'm committing fully to our alliance, and I believe I can convince my people to do the same." Volkov nodded, a rare smile crossing her face. "Thank you, Admiral. Your trust means more than you know. Together we'll build something greater than either of our species could achieve alone." As these events unfolded across the galaxy, Captain Steele and his crew faced a monumental decision at the Nexus Gateway. The architect AI's voice echoed through the bridge. "You stand at the threshold of a new age. Will you step through the gateway and claim your place among the stars as our chosen successors? Or will you forge your own path?" Steele looked at his crew, seeing the mix of anticipation and apprehension on their faces. He opened a channel to Earth, relaying the architect's offer to humanity's leadership. After intense deliberation, the decision was made. Steele turned to face the view screen, his voice clear and unwavering. "We accept your offer. Humanity is ready to take its place among the stars." The Nexus Gateway hummed to life, its energy readings spiking off the charts. Steele gave the order, and the Lazarus, along with its escort fleet, moved forward. As they entered the swirling vortex of light and energy, Steele felt a profound sense of anticipation. They were about to embark on humanity's greatest journey yet. In a blinding flash, the ships emerged into a vast network of similar gateways, each a portal to different galaxies and dimensions. the architect AI's voice resonated once more. Congratulations, humanity. You have passed the final test. The knowledge and technology of the architects are now yours. Use them wisely and guide the galaxy towards a brighter future. As the crew of the Lazarus marveled at the endless possibilities before them, Steele knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity had taken its first step into a larger universe, and the adventures that awaited them were beyond imagination.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.